Ladies and gentlemen, this bout scheduled for 8 3-minute rounds in the welterweight division. This bout is brought to you by Mark Nielsen of Nielsen Boxing in association with John Trethui of TM14 Promotions and their proud sponsors, Allegra and Nutravita. This bout is sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control. Your area representative, Des Reese, your timekeeper at the bell, and Marie Randall, and your third man in charge of the action in the ring, referee Rocky Israel. And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner. He is wearing the blue, green, and white. His official weight of 10 stones, 9 pounds, and 1 ounce. He has a record of 18 fights, 6 losses, and 12 wins. Hailing from Risca, Wales, United Kingdom, introducing Jake Tinkler. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. He is wearing the navy with white trim. His official weight of 10 stones, 10 pounds, and 1 ounce. He is currently undefeated with 7 wins. Hailing from West Ham, London, England, United Kingdom, introducing Finlay James.
Lads, you already know the rules. Above all, protect yourself and obey my command at all times. Now touch gloves and good luck. Let's go.
Got a good little contest here in the welterweight division. Jake Tinkler going in against
Seconds
James.
out,
James
round 1.
coming off a good win over Harley Hodges, who boxed last night, and he had a good win actually over Alfie Winter. Unexpected win. He won that in 5 rounds in a cracking little contest. And Jake Tinkler, who won his first 7 as a pro, turned pro back in 2019, but has lost 5 of his last 6. So lost his way a little bit, Tinkler, and will want to get back into winning ways, but he's got a tough night tonight against Finlay James.
And Finlay James is credited with that win over Hodges. What you saw last night from Hodges let you know that he is a serious operator, and it's a win that is meant to give some credibility to Finlay James. So for tonight, we should see him step up levels.
There's a nice little left hand from the southpaw stance there from Finlay James. He just caught Tinkler as he moved forward. He walked into it. Said in an interview recently that he believes he's the better quality fighter, and you know he wants the better opponents to bring that out of him.
Well, he's certainly got a guy that knows his way around the ring here in Jake Tinkler, so it's a good step up for Finlay James as he continues his journey.
2 fairly tall and long fighters. I'll be interested to see who establishes their jab and gets their footwork together first. I mean, I really at this point can't tell the difference between the A side and the B side.
Yeah, well, you're right there. That there are 2 very tall, rangy fighters, and they're both counter punches as well, so they're trying to draw the lead here. Good head movement there from Tinkler, just avoiding the shots there. But yeah, a cautious start from both of these guys, and you just suspect, you're looking at these and you go, you can feel that someone's going to get caught somewhere, because they're both tall, they're both upright, and they're both coming in, they want to attack. When they're going, they're quite explosive on those attacks, and you expect one of them's going to get caught.
I imagine this is the beginning of our 50-50 card, really, Spence. Like, again, the records do not always deliver on exactly what the matchup is looking like, and right here, this looks like a 50-50 fight from the start.
Yeah, Prey, we was talking about that earlier on, wasn't we, about, you know, York Hall and what it does for fighters and brings out the best in certain fighters, and you get the upsets here in this one, and Jake Tinkler will start a big underdog going in here, but he started not too badly here. He's holding himself well.
he's holding himself well. We get the upsets here, but we also get the surprises as well, like we saw last night. So, you know, anything could happen tonight with these two. I think, like you said before, they're just looking to land that stinging shot, aren't they?
I mean, Spence, 12-6, while it's not the record that you desire when you start your career, it's also not a wash. There's still a long future ahead for Tinklin if he can get on track. And tonight is the kind of night you can defeat an undefeated fighter and let people know that you're actually in this game for the long term.
Radio, that's the game that we're in now. One win turns your career around, you know. I mean, look, Derek Chisora, who we got boxing December the 13th, he's still going. He's got 13 losses on his record, but he's a guy that every now and then turns one of them over. He had a good run beating Joe Joyce, Gerald Washington, and you look at those victories and you go, let's put him back in the mix with the big names. So look, it's not about defeats now, it's how you conduct yourself. If you're fan friendly and you can pull off a good win, you're back in the game. And Finley James is that guy. He's 7-0, he's the prospect going in here. He's expected to win. Tinklin is now 28 years of age. And a win here will put him back in the game.
To your point, Spence, I was ready for Chisora to retire 3 years ago. And probably a lot of people have already written Jake Tinklin off. In both cases, we could be wrong.
Yep, well, let's see. Close first round, but Finley James probably just nicked that. But Tinklin held himself well. Both being quite cautious. You're just waiting for this one to catch fire. Just trying to work each other out, showing each other a lot of respect, and you just go, right, it's now time to start being a little creative, set the traps a little bit, force your opponent into that move, make the mistake, but we're not getting that just yet, Prayer.
No, like we said, they're both counter punchers, and they're both going to have to try and draw the lead and counter the counter. And right now, I think both of them are finding that a little bit tricky to deal with in there.
Tinklin is fighting like the bigger man, though. I'm not prepared to give him the edge in the fight, but I do like his posture. I like his imposing figure, and it seems like he's making the opponent figure him out and not vice versa.
Yep, that's a great shout, Radio, because that's what's happening there. Tinklin just holding the centre of the ring. He's got his lead foot on the outside there of Finley James, and that means he's controlling the space well, and James is the one that seems to be working harder, even though they're not throwing any punches.
Yeah, both fighters are waiting a bit too long. Somebody's got to start the action. We're past the filling out phase. It's only an 8-round fight.
Yep, you just sense that either guy's just trying to draw each other up. We've got the orthodox versus the southpaw. They can always make fighters tentative, but this is all about taking the opportunity, because that's where we're at right now. This is what it is, getting up to that next level. You have to take the opportunity. Finley James has a really strong corner as well. Mark Tibbs, Jimmy Tibbs in that corner. Them guys have been around a long, long time, trained a lot of the top fighters, still training a lot of the top fighters.
I like what I just saw from James with that right hand. And in the corner, they're going to have to advise him to be careful, because he's stepping on the foot of Tinklin. He's still able to keep his balance at this stage, but look out for a slip and a fall and a trip over those feet if he's not careful.
Yep, that old trick of stepping on your opponent's foot, though. Your opponent can't get off with the shots, can't get off with the balance. It's not a bad move, it's a smart move. Unless the ref sees it, of course.
Yeah, I've seen many times where the referee doesn't see that that's a part of the action, and you get a good knockdown from that.
You strike me as one of those guys that would pull off a few of those dirty moves as well.
Mate, there's no dirty moves, there's only bad losses.
There you go, there you go. But yeah, this is nice work. Again, James, the more stylish work coming from James. Yeah, Tinklin is maybe pressing, but neither guy really stamped their authority in this contest just yet.
I noticed James's stance has widened a bit. I think that has to do with the foot positioning. He's got a little trouble there finding himself on the inside and not knowing where his lead foot needs to be.
It's exactly what I was just looking at. He's widened his stance, but he's also very heavily weighted on his back foot, which is keeping him, you know, not helping to get him into range to actually land those shots against Tinklin. And if Tinklin keeps coming forward, he's going to render James off balance.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see the advice that Mark Tibbs and Jimmy Tibbs are giving Finley James in that corner now, because they'll know that those first 2 rounds were tight. No, neither guy really opened up yet. They're waiting for that opportunity.
Is there any energy here, Spencer? Sometimes I gotta ask these
Corners,
European type
10
questions.
seconds.
There's a Welsh and a Brit in the ring together. Is there any rivalry there? Because when I did
Seconds
the
out.
WWE in
Round 3.
Wales, boy, they gave me a lot of stick for accidentally calling it England once.
Listen, mate, there's rivalry whenever you get Welsh, English, Scottish, Irish, American, Mexican, you name it, there's rivalries, my friend. That's just the way that it is.
Well, I'm sure Tinkling would love to take a box where he's stopped an undefeated fighter from Britain.
Absolutely, man. That's always it's a moral victory on its own.
Once again, I say Tinkling is imposing on James, not really giving James room to work. And without throwing punches, he's just really an intimidating presence over top. However, James has got that left hand cocked. I saw some success from it in the last round. I'd like to see that again. There he goes, reaching for it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of success, but the success that is coming, the cleaner work probably is coming from James, but Tinkling Prayer is trying to take the fight to James here, but he just needs to let his hands go maybe a little bit more than what he is, because it's all right standing in front of your opponent, but you have to do something as well.
Well, I think he needs to be first and third with his attacks, but James is coming back strong now, and this is exactly what we need to see from him.
Yeah, that was a beautiful double left hook to the body there from James. Just tapped the shots upstairs, switched the shots underneath. The first shot especially, I think Tinkling felt that.
Yeah, to your point, Spence, you can't just let Tinkling stand there in range and tower over you. Make that a punishing position to be in and start letting your hands go inside. Tinkling's really not mounting an offense. He's just standing there and imposing his will.
Yep, that's exactly right. And I think that, someone comes into the pocket, gets into the firing line, you have to let your hands go or move. And Tinkling at the moment, he's doing the work to get there. He's in range against an awkward southpaw, but not confident enough to throw his punches, and that's probably because he's lost 5 of his last 6, and he needs to build that confidence, because James is one of those awkward stylistic fighters, very good. He's a good amateur turning into the pro ranks, and that awkwardness he uses as a weapon.
I think James is also finding his range with his rear hand, so he's catching Tinkling on the way in, which is exactly what he wants as a counter-punching southpaw.
Yeah, this is a clearer round here from James, and one of the most dominant we've seen from the opening bell. He's just finding his rhythm now. He's just getting into range, and he's letting those shots go. Less coming back from Tinkling. Tinkling standing in front of him with his hands up, but he's got to be careful he doesn't turn into a human punch bag in there, because he's going to have to let his hands go himself.
You've called it right on the head. I believe it is confidence that's keeping Tinkling's hands at home. Probably those losses in these last few fights have made him a little bit war-weary and hesitant. That's what's stopping him from mounting an offense.
Yeah, big shots there. Prayer, he got through lovely with the left hand through the middle, right hook over the top as well, and that was good success there from Finley James again.
That was a great round, I think, for James. I think it was probably his best round yet. He found his range. He was able to catch Tinkling on the way in. He was moving forward as well behind his jab and throwing his combinations. I think that was probably his best round so far.
Chris Saniga in the corner there of James Tinkling, a great trainer as well. Chris, who's been around a long time, trained some brilliant fighters in the past. He knows the game inside out, and he's going to have to use all that experience and all those wise words here for Tinkling, who's going to need now a good telling it off in the corner, really, to say, listen, kid, you got to turn this around. You're letting it slip away from you. As I said, in the round, he's standing in front of him. He's imposing the pressure. He's doing the work to get in range, but then not letting the hands go, and that's just not good enough. You've got to take that opportunity. You've got to take the chance. And Finley James now is in a rhythm, and it's down to Tinkling to try and break it.
It's a big mouse underneath the right eye of Tinkling. We saw it being iced in the corner. It's a nice target for James. Power shot right to that eye. Continue to make that eye swell and make Tinkling think about it. There it is.
And he's doing that really well, actually. Like we said earlier, he's drawing Tinklin in. He's now actually getting Tinklin to fight his fight. He wanted to draw him in. He wanted to land on the way in, and that's exactly what he's been able to do.
Yep. Nice work here from Finlay, who's in control. He's just holding the space, and there it is, the range with that jab again, and it's always difficult, you know, like when you get a southpaw, and I don't know what it is about southpaws, but when they get into a rhythm, they get into a flow, it's really difficult to break because they've just got that range, and you have to be creative. Lovely shots there from Finlay, and he got through with some big shots, and Tinklin is in trouble here. The legs are just starting to wobble. I tell you something though, Radio, they breed them tough down there in Wales, that is for sure, my friend. They are tough as they come. And Chris Saniga, out of the Saniga gym, he has trained some good fighters, the Selbys, over the years, and he's had some great champions. And that's one thing that you can guarantee is they are tough. And Tinklin is showing that toughness here, and he's in trouble. The referee is taking a close look and play up. If he doesn't throw back here, he's in danger of getting stopped.
He's going to need a lot of that Welsh toughness if he's not going to throw punches back and find spots to counter. Right now, Finley James's confidence is brimming, and I'm not seeing anything from Jake saying, I'm ready to stop you or turn the tide. He is in trouble. Even as these punches right now are not being thrown, you see James just measuring him, sizing him up for the combo shots that are coming right now.
He's definitely got it his own way. This is exactly what he was looking for. He's piling on the pressure now. Referee's taking another good look at Tinklin, and he might well stop this in the 4th round, but referee lets the action continue.
Yep, 30 seconds left in this 4th round, and Tinklin is in desperate trouble. He's using all that experience to be hanging in there, and James now looking for the openings, trying to draw the lead here of Tinklin. Tinklin not wanting to throw because he knows that every time he throws, he's in trouble. And there's that key left hook, right hook to the body, out the southpaw stance there from James, and he lands it again under the elbows, and you see Tinklin's arms coming down. This is desperate times here.
Punches and bunches coming from James. You see him setting it up. What a flurry of shots, picking his opponent apart. Really like that round. Tinklin is in a lot of trouble if he can't stem that tide in the coming round.
Yep, pray up. We just watched Tinklin walk back to the corner just above us here. There was a slow walk, and we see Chris Saniga really, I can't repeat what he's actually saying because we can't say that on air, but let's just say he's not happy. But he's got to do that right now with a guy that's in the corner. The referee's just gone over, asked if he's okay. He's not far away from getting stopped here.
He's not far away from getting stopped at all, Spencer, and you know, Finley James was definitely the captain of the ship in that round. He was hitting him at will. He was just looking for the openings, and when he found them, he just went for it, and that's exactly what he needed to do.
Corners, 10
I tell you what, great
seconds.
corner work there from Chris Saniga, by the way. He knows his fighters inside out. He'll know when he needs to be sort of
Seconds out.
softer with them, and he'll know when he needs to
5.
give them a rollicking, and that's exactly what he's done there from Tinklin. He said, listen, son, you better turn this around or you're getting stopped. The referee's looking close. James is in the flow. He's landing shots. You need to do something here. You got to throw everything, kitchen sink. This is do or die time. You have to throw those shots.
Tinklin just landed a nice clean jab on the chin of James, but James took it well, and you know, he still just got this his own way.
If you're going to have a career at 12-6, you got to win a fight you're not supposed to win. It doesn't look like Tinklin's going to pull that off tonight, but very, very soon he's going to need to do that if he's not going to just become a journeyman opponent.
That's correct. It's make or break, as I said. This is where you have to take that opportunity, and it's not going his way, Tinklin, so you go, right, what are you going to do? James is the superior boxer. He's getting off with the shots first. He's found his range with a jab. He's whipping in the body shots as well. So you go with Tinklin. Now you just got to rough him up. You know, this is the hurt business. You got to get in there and you got to let those hands go. Because look, he's walking forward, hands held high. Now he's in the pocket and he's not doing the work. And that is a big problem because James is the one that's getting off with his shots first.
And this is good work for James, and a big fighter, a long fighter, somebody with experience that you can get to. Now it's the question if James will let his hands go. These flurries are landing. He's able to do what he wants in there. He's got 8 rounds to get the job done, and the job should be done.
I mean, he's definitely taken control of the fight as the fight's gone on. You know, the first kind of couple of rounds were cagey, but James has really come into his own, and that's exactly what he said in a recent interview. He wants those longer fights. He wants to be fighting in the 6, 8, and 10 rounders because that's where he shines, and he's really proving that tonight.
Yep, he is. It's not going to be long before he starts boxing for bigger and better titles. As I said, he's got a strong corner there with Mark and Jimmy Tibbs. They've been around the block. They know the game inside out. They believe in James, and James is delivering. He's boxing well. He's keeping his composure. He's slowly chipping away, slowly, systematically breaking this tough Tinkling down, because Tinkling's one of those guys that you don't just break easily. You know, you have to work at it because he's tough himself. You know, he's been there, seen it, done it himself. And he'll recognise that this sort of fights, you know, they take you into those championship rounds where you learn that experience and prepare you for the time when you get there yourself.
Is this something that James can do, that add to his repertoire in the next 3 rounds that will make the difference between getting a stoppage or just going to card spins?
Well, yeah, listen, for James, it's just about chipping away, doing what he's doing. You know, the corner are very pleased with him. They'll be giving him the right advice. Like I say, Mark Tibbs knows exactly when to tell you to pick it up, to go. James is an experienced kid who will know, he'll be listening to the instructions of the corner. Marks will tell him, look, slowly chip away here, and as you feel him breaking, you slowly start hearing the shots that are landing on the inside. And so when you're hitting with an opponent, you can feel the strength of them. You get on the inside and you'll throw a little right hook to the body or a little left hook to the body, and you hear that. Once you hear that noise, you know you're starting to crack them, you know you're starting to break them. He clearly hasn't heard that right now, because Tinkling is that tough guy, and he'll know when the opportunity comes, but you can't just... Boxing is all about timing, and if you get the timing wrong, that's when you make a mistake. If you get greedy on the inside, stay there too long, you give the opponent the opportunity to come back. Tinkling is that kid that is dangerous. You know, he carries a good punch himself, and James, for me, is boxing the perfect fight right now.
I think he is. I don't think James is doing anything wrong as such. I mean, he could turn it up maybe slightly, but I think the fact that Tinkling's still standing is just complete credit to his durability and his chin.
But I tell you something that we will get from James, that he has the ability to turn it up. And that will be when his trainer says, come on in, son, let's close the show, let's turn it up. And that will come soon, because we're going into round 6 now. You've got 3 rounds to go, and then I know Mark would have been in the corner now saying, you're boxing beautifully, son. You're doing everything right. Tinkling's a tough old customer. Let's start turning it up a little bit now. Let's start, you know, sitting there just a little second longer, you know, taking that opportunity and trying to chip away a little bit more.
Tinkling now fighting with his mouth open. I feel like the body shots would open up the head shots. Combination punching is clearly something James is comfortable with and doing well. Maybe start downstairs, work your way upstairs. That's how we close the show tonight.
And maybe this is the fight where you get your show reel finish, Radio.
Finally. And as soon as I get it, I'll be screaming for another. It's never enough for me.
Yeah, I can guarantee it will be coming. I'm not sure if there's a cut there on James. I don't know if I just saw a cut.
There's certainly blood on somebody.
I think James may have picked up a cut over
His
the
right
eye there,
eye,
yeah. It may have been from a clash of heads. I didn't see a shot going in, but that will spur Tinkling on for sure. And is it a cut on the eye or is it up on the head? I think it's just on the eyebrow, actually. And it looks quite a bad one. The blood is obviously running in the eye, which is not going to be good for the vision, Preya.
No, and they're the cuts that will actually got the potential to stop a fight if your vision's blurred. If that was under his eye, it wouldn't be such a problem.
You know, I gotta tell you, Spence, I'm looking and I see the stream of blood like a river running right down the bridge of his nose. He might be lucky just with the formation of his face that there's an irrigation system for that cut. I don't really see it running into the eye.
Yep, you could be right, Radio, but if that shot, if they takes another one on that, then that could worsen, it could open, and that is the danger here for James.
It's a good experience for your 8th fight also, to have to deal with some adversity in a fight that you're winning. Nobody wants to get cut. It can bother you, it can distract you. Keep your focus, get the job done. Don't let that bother you. Fortunately, it's not running into the eye yet, but it's a good experience to have at this level.
Listen, it's all part of the process, man. It's all part of the apprenticeship. You know, this is where you're learning the trade, and that's good work there. Tinkling trying to push forward, but James landing some lovely shots out the southpaw style. That right hook to the head is especially effective.
It really is, and I think James is now realising that with that cut, he really does need to turn the screw and turn the pressure up and look for that stoppage, because if he doesn't score it, Tinklin might just get stopped for the cut.
Yeah, that's a horrible cut as well. It's not in a good place. As I said, the referee is taking a look. Let's hope that they get an opportunity to take. They will get an opportunity actually, because we've got 15 seconds to go in the round. And Mark Tibbs, Jimmy Tibbs, trust me, they know how to work on cuts, and they're going to have to do everything they can to stem the bleed here, because it's not a good one here for James.
And by the way, credit to Tinklin's corner for taking that mouse down. I thought that might be a factor in this fight. They've completely eliminated that as an issue.
Yeah, both guys have experience in the corner. Chris Sanigar, he's an experienced guy that's been there, seen it, done it, been around him many, many years. Lovely, lovely man, he really is, who cares for his fighters. He's done an incredible job, as you say, on that eye. And he's doing a great job in the corner here as well, just listening to his instructions. He really fancies it here. He's trying to really G his guy up, and that's important, Freya.
I think he really needs it as well. You know, this is where he's got 2 rounds left to actually try and turn the tide. He's got a slight advantage from the last round with the cut, and now it's his coach's job to really help him capitalise on that.
Corners, 10 seconds.
See Jimmy Tibbs in the ring there, working on that cut. It does look a bad one above.
Seconds out.
Right eye in the eyebrow, actually.
Yeah, to your point, Spence, they've stopped the bleeding in the corner. Let's see how quickly Tinklin can open it back up, and if it can become a factor for him, maybe that's a target that gets him inspired to do something that we're not expecting, and maybe get me the knockout I'm looking for. I don't care who it comes from.
Well, listen, mate, he's got 2 rounds to do it, because he's way behind on the scorecards, Tinklin, that's for sure. It's been a great contest, an entertaining contest, and Tinklin has played his part in that, but the better work has been coming from James, the classier work's been coming from James, but now, with that eye problem, you go, coming in, Tinklin, one last roll of the dice here. You got an opportunity. Can you capitalise on it?
And you really do have to let everything go now. There's no time to be patient, no time to really set things up and hope that they come to fruition. You've got to throw the kitchen sink, as you should have plenty of arm strength left if you hadn't thrown many punches in the first 5 rounds.
Well, that was the question I was going to throw to you, Preya. It's like, yeah, it's okay us saying, right, time to turn the screw, pick it up, and we've had 6 hard rounds there, and he's been on the end of a lot of punishment, and the question is, can he turn it up? Has he got it left in the tank? He's got 6 minutes to do it, but he's not showing us anything here to tell us that he's got anything left.
It's not, and I think that's testament to the fact that James has some real sting in his punches, and every time Tinklin tries to throw, he's getting countered on the inside with 2 or 3 shots, and James is really able to capitalise on every opening.
Yep, you see the focus on James's face there, just landed a good right hook on the inside. Good work from James, who's controlling things here. He's controlling the space so well.
Still the blood not streaming from the eye.
That's great corner work, mate. I'm told you, Jimmy Tibbs in the corner there has been around with everyone. He's worked with all the great fighters. Nigel Benn comes to mind. He had a great relationship with Nigel Benn and took him through some memorable victories. He knows his stuff, and one thing he knows how to deal with is a cut, and he's done a great job on James Finley. Finley James, sorry.
A couple of good body shots coming from Tinklin.
Yep, and look at the response from James.
I think they're both showing signs of getting a bit tired now. I think the pace is starting to get to them in these later rounds.
Body shot there, right hook to the body, right
Really
under the elbows, beautiful shot.
Beautiful combination. That's what I like about James. He throws punches in bunches. It's one of my favorite attributes for a fighter.
Yeah, been a great contest this one, and Jake Tinklin, win, lose or draw, has played his part in a brilliant little contest. Oh, big shot there, right hook to the back of the head, and look at him come back with a lovely right uppercut of his own there, Tinklin. He was having none of it. James up on his toes, 10-second clock has gone.
Your favorite punch, Spence, that screw shot. Tinklin keeping James a little bit honest in there.
Yep, that's the shot. The one you don't see comes from a funny angle. Tinklin had his moments in that round for sure, but there was some beautiful combination punching coming from James there. And what's impressed me here, Preya, is he's kept his composure here. We've got a kid only having his 8th professional contest. He's picked up a bad cut. He's kept his composure, you know, and he's kept his game together. That's impressive.
I think it is, and if you ask the question, Has he got it left of both fighters? I think out of the two, James has definitely got plenty more in the tank to give. You know, he's got the cut, that's going to bother him. His corner have done an outstanding job with it. You know, Tinklin wasn't able to open it, and he had a round to open that cut back up. He wasn't able to do it, and I think this next round's going to be really interesting.
Corners, 10
It's
seconds.
time for Jake Tinklin to go all in now. Yeah, that's what
Seconds
he's got
out.
to do.
8 and
Make or
final
break.
round.
He needs something big. Radio.
It's time for James to go all in and break Tinklin down. He's got the momentum. He's landing combination punches. Really switch it up now. Change the pace. I think James does have the energy, and then he's found the range. Let's see these big shots land to punctuate this win.
Yep, James, will he go for it himself? But no, Tinklin's the one that started the last round with more urgency. James happy to sit on the ropes. Lovely 1-2 there, textbook stuff.
And I think that's all it's going to take in this round, to be honest, to keep James out of trouble, to get him to seal the deal on this win. He just needs to keep it nice and basic. 1-2 and move, 1-2 and move, and that will be 3 minutes.
Yep, and that's looking like the way he wants to play it here, James. And probably what they've told him in the corner, listen, you've got a bad cut here, let's not make it any worse. You don't need to close the show, you're well in front. Lovely right hook in the inside there. Happy to stand inside, and what lovely combination.
Yes. Yes, you're right. The 1-2 will definitely get us to the close and get him a nice finish, but not the kind of finish I'm looking for. I want that combination punches, but to your point, you do want to protect that cut. You don't want it to get worse. Live to fight another day. You've got this one in the bag. Maybe it's not time to take that kind of risk.
Yeah, listen, we've got young prospects here, you know, and this is all about, you know, building, learning, and that's exactly what he would have done here, James, for sure. He would have taken a lot from this contest. He's got a bright future, this kid.
It should be noted we've got a stream of blood on the monitor. That's also an excellent start. I don't know if that's from tonight or last night.
I've got a book full of blood. That was from last night for sure. We had some mad contests last night, and we were all a little bit worse for wear when it comes to the blood for sure, as we left this one, and we sort of seem to have taken off from where we left off last night, didn't we? But that's what you get with the York Hall Bethnal Green.
Imagine last night just being the opening for this show tonight. What a run of fights we'll have in 48 hours.
Yep, well, I'm expecting a lot in the next 5 contests that we've got here this evening, but this one is a brilliant one, and there goes James again. Good combination punching, uppercuts, variety of shots to head and body. And you know what? Testament to Jake Tinklin here, because he's a tough kid. He's stood there, he's taking some big punches. He's never lost heart, he's never lost his soul. He's pushing forward and he's going for it.
But he does, he mixes aggression with his survival instincts, and that's exactly what he's done in this fight. You know, he hasn't made it easy for James, regardless of the cut or not. He hasn't made it easy. He's made James work for the win. And, you know, that's a great experience for James.
Well, there we go, the 10-second clacker's gone. Tinklin doing what he's done from the opening bell, pushing forward, trying to get something from this. I don't think he's got it. Great performance there from Finley James, showed great composure after picking up a bad cut over his right eye, his right eyebrow. The corner, Mark Tibbs, Jimmy Tibbs done a tremendous job stemming the blood from flowing there.
Well, Tinklin not able to make it a very close fight tonight. I'm not ready to write him off. I saw opportunities there. The confidence wasn't there. The execution wasn't sharp enough, but the ability, I believe, is present. And it just is maybe a mental game. Any fighter I've spoken to will tell you it's 80% mental in there, and maybe that's what needs to be addressed when he goes back to the drawing board.
Yep. Congratulations to both guys on a brilliant contest. Chris Sanigar in the corner of James Tinklin. Like I say, a guy that's been around a long, long time, Chris, and he knows how to train fighters, and we got a product of that right there. A kid that went in there, give it his all, put in a tremendous contest, and that's what it's all about, right? This is what it's about now. Guys that are willing to put their records on the line, go in there, no titles on the line, not protecting them, and just giving the fans what they need.
And that's what builds the sport as well. You know, I have no doubt that people who have seen these two fighters fight tonight would want to see them fight again.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 8 rounds of boxing, we go to the referee scorecard. The ringside referee scores the bout 80 to 73. And your winner, still undefeated, Finlay James.
Finlay, congratulations. Your 8th professional outing, your first 8-rounder. How are you feeling?
Yeah, no, great. I thought that was a strong performance. I thought there's some things I can do a little bit cleaner, a little bit more polished, but I'm happy to get a bit more explosive shots off and a little bit more heavy work closer. I feel like I've been lacking that a little bit in my previous fight, so it's nice to see the screw starting to turn, and hopefully as I get a bit older, a bit bigger, a bit wiser, I can start putting guys like that away.
I mean, you had a little bit of a step-up opponent in Jake Tinkley, and I know you're obviously building and developing as you progress through the professional ranks. But what was really interesting to see in that is you kind of started off a bit of a slower pace, and then towards the 4th, 5th round, you picked it up. Was that some advice that was coming from the corner with Mark Tibbs?
I think that's just what I do naturally. I slowly build and I slowly get a bit warmer once I start to fill someone out a little bit, and I think if you can't get me out there in the first when you're at your best, then as long as I keep my composure and my brain about me, I'll get through. I'm pretty unscathed, and I got a cut tonight, which is a different experience, but it's only a headbutt and we deal with it, we move on. It isn't nothing that affects me. I've been around the block a little bit now, so I've got some experiences, and that's another good one to put on the list.
Yeah, as I said, you know, your first 8-rounder, did it feel any different to you moving through those rounds and stepping through those gears?
No, I feel like it all feels the same. Like, as you start getting on in the rounds, it's heavy, it's harder, but it's always going to feel like that, and it has always felt like that since I was doing 4-rounders and 3-rounders. Just because I know the closer I get to the end bell, I've got to up my intensity a little bit, so you always start to empty the tank a little bit, and I could hear the ref in there going, Jake, give me some more, so I knew I was squeezing the lemons a little bit. I just needed to just grind a little bit more, and in the gym I'm going to go back, work hard, get fitter, get in better shape, and you're going to see a better Finlay.
Yeah, I've seen you box a few times, and I've seen you spar quite a lot, and you're usually a lot more fleet-footed and a lot more slick, and you know, evade punches really well. Today you opted to hold your feet a lot more and throw some power shots. Was that intentional, or was that just the sort of fight that Tinklin was making it?
Yeah, I feel like Tinklin was always coming forward, so I didn't have to make up ground. I knew he was going to walk into it a little bit. You've seen me spar in the gym, and the rings are a lot smaller in the Peacock, so I've got to move. I feel like when I got a little bit more space, I got a little bit more safety net behind me, so I don't mind hanging about a little bit. And I can see what's coming, so I can block or I can roll, and I'm confident enough in my ability to do that.
Oh, that makes sense.
And what's next for Finlay James?
I don't know, another 8 or move up in some area titles. You just got to see what opportunities come along. Them lower title belts ain't going nowhere, so I'm sure if I get another couple 8s in, I'll be happy with that. And I'm just happy with activity, and as long as the opponents are always getting better than worse, I'm always happy.
And a quick word for your supporters in the building tonight.
Thank you for the army for coming out tonight. It was lovely to hear you all. Everyone always looks after me and looks out for me, so it's nice to see everyone down here tonight, putting some good words in and giving us a good bit of noise in here. Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
Well done, champ.